It's May the 18th, 2021, and our reading in 1 Samuel today is in chapter 9. There was a Benjamite, a man of standing, whose name was Kish, son of Abiel, the son of Zeror, the son of Bechorath, the son of Aphia of Benjamin. Kish had a son named Saul, as handsome a young man as could be found anywhere in Israel, and he was a head taller than anyone else. Now the donkeys belonging to Saul's father Kish were lost, and Kish said to his son Saul, "Take one of the servants with you and go and look for the donkeys." So he passed through the hill country of Ephraim and through the area around Shalisha, but they did not find them. They went on into the district of Shalim, but the donkeys were not there. Then he passed through the territory of Benjamin, but they did not find them. When they reached the district of Zuph, Saul said to the servant who was with him, "Come, let's go back, or my father will stop thinking about the donkeys and start worrying about us." But the servant replied, "Look, in this town there is a man of God. He is highly respected, and everything he says comes true. Let's go there now. Perhaps he will tell us what way to take." Saul said to his servant, "If we go, what can we give the man? The food in our sacks is gone. We've no gift to take to the man of God. What do we have?" The servant answered him again. "Look," he said, "I have a quarter of a shekel of silver. I will give it to the man of God so that he will tell us what way to take." Formerly in Israel, if people went to inquire of God, they would say, "Come, let us go to the seer," because the prophet of today used to be called a seer. "Good," Saul said to his servant, "Come, let's go." So they set out for the town where the man of God was. As they were going up the hill to the town, they met some young women coming out to draw water, and they asked them, "Is the seer here?" "He is," they answered. "He's ahead of you. Hurry now. He's just come to our town today for the people of sacrifice at the high place. As soon as you enter the town, you'll find him before he goes up to the high place to eat. The people will not begin eating until he comes, because he must bless the sacrifice afterward. Those who are invited will eat. Go up now. You should find him about this time." They went up to the town, and as they were entering it, there was Samuel coming toward them on his way up to the high place. Now the day before Samuel came, the Lord had revealed this to Samuel. "About this time tomorrow, I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin, anoint him ruler over my people Israel. He will deliver them from the hand of the Philistines. I've looked on my people, for their cry has reached me." When Samuel caught sight of Saul, the Lord said to him, "This is the man I spoke to you about. He will govern my people." Saul approached Samuel in the gateway and asked, "Would you please tell me where the seer's house is?" "I am the seer," Samuel replied. "Go up ahead of me to the high place, for today you are to eat with me, and in the morning I will send you on your way and will tell you all that is in your heart. As for the donkeys you lost 3 days ago, don't worry about them. They've been found. And to whom is all the desire of Israel turned, if not to you and your whole family line?" Saul answered, "But am I not a Benjamite from the smallest tribe of Israel? And is not my clan the least of all the clans of the tribe of Benjamin? Why do you say such a thing to me?" Then Samuel brought Saul and his servant into the hall and seated them at the head of those who were invited, about 30 in number. Samuel said to the cook, "Bring the piece of meat I gave you, the one I told you to lay aside." So the cook took up the thigh with what was on it and set it in front of Saul. Samuel said, "Here's what's been kept for you. Eat, because it was set aside for you. For this occasion, from the time I said, I've invited guests." And Saul dined with Samuel that day. After they came down from the high place to the town, Samuel talked with Saul on the roof of his house. They rose about daybreak, and Samuel called to Saul on the roof, "Get ready, and I will send you on your way." When Saul got ready, he and Samuel went outside together. As they were going down to the edge of the town, Samuel said to Saul, Tell the servant to go on ahead of us. And the servant did so. But you stay here for a while, so that I may give you a message from God. Amen. Who then will be this king? And how will it happen? Well, onto the stage now comes Saul, verse 2, who is called a very impressive young man, or a very handsome young man, obviously good looking and obviously head and shoulders above the rest, quite literally. So in terms of what you can see, the external, the physical, he's exactly what the people want, as we've seen. But the first time we find him, what's he doing? He's searching for his father's lost donkeys. And he himself seems to get lost. He certainly doesn't find the donkeys. Truth be told, Saul is a bit of a bumbling idiot to begin with. And we don't know whether to laugh or cry to think of this man as the king. But verse 6, we suddenly find out from the servant of all people that there is a man of God in this area. Of course, this is talking about Samuel. And the idea is, verses 7 to 10, maybe we can find this man of God, and maybe we can give him a gift, and we can buy off him the guidance that we need to get back on track, to find the donkeys and to get back home. That's all that is in Saul's mind at this point. But by God's overruling providence, can you see how they are getting closer and closer and closer to this key meeting, verses 11 to 17. Again, this is no accident. This is God's sovereign will being worked out. We know this because even the day before, verse 15, the Lord had revealed to Samuel about this man who would be king. And here he is, right on cue, right on time, according to God's clock. He turns up and he's in front of him. So verses 18 to 20, they meet finally face to face. There's some good news here. They found the donkeys. Hooray, verse 20. The first part of verse 20. But then the second part of verse 20. And to whom is all the desire of Israel turned, if not to you and your whole family line? He doesn't exactly spell it out. It's slightly mysterious language, but it's a very strong hint at Saul's coming exaltation to rule, to reign over Israel. How does Saul respond? Verses 21 to 27. Well, I think probably as we'd expect. He bumbles, he stumbles, he objects. He doesn't like this. He doesn't want this. They share a meal together, we're told. And then the following day, the chapter ends on a real cliffhanger. Tell the servant to go on ahead of us. And the servant did so. But you stay here. It's Samuel talking to Saul. You stay here for a while, so that I may give you a message from God. Here's a big lesson for us to learn from this chapter and from the appointment of Saul as king. Let's remember that even when a bad man, Saul does become that further down the line. At this point, I'd say he's just a sad man, like I say, a bit of a bumbling idiot. But when corrupt and inadequate and unlikely people become our leaders, we have to remember they've been put there by God for a reason. Whatever the reason, we have to trust God, submit to him, be prayerful, wait on the Lord. Don't become as so many people are today, about the world situation and governments and leaders over nations. Don't get angry. Don't get bitter. Don't get obsessed and consumed. Keep this vision crystal clear in your mind. Hebrews 12 and verse 2. Keep looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith.